Hey there, welcome to this deep dive. We're focusing on getting you ready to totally ace that theater technician interview, like really ready, so you can walk in there and show them you're the one, the backstage wizard they've been looking for.
That's right. And we've got what you need. We've got these awesome career guides and sample interview questions. We'll break down the role and even show you how using RoleCatcher's AI can totally level up your prep.
Love it. Okay, let's set the stage. What exactly does a theater technician do? Because it's definitely not just making sure the ghost light is off at night, right?
Right. It's way more than that. It's like being the force behind the scenes that makes the magic happen. It's technical know-how meets creative collaboration. They build the sets, rig the lights, handle the sound, and make sure everything runs without a hitch, even when a show is touring.
So it's a mix of being tech-savvy A&D, understanding how all those elements come together to create the overall artistic vision.
Exactly. Part engineer, part artist, with a whole lot of problem solving thrown in.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
But can we get real for a sec? What's it actually like to work as a theater technician? The career guide mentions crazy hours, maybe even job instability. And I gotta say, that sounds kind of intimidating.
Yeah, no, you're right. Those are important things to consider and be prepared for. Long hours, unpredictable schedules, it can be demanding work. But here's the thing. The industry's changing fast. All those immersive, tech-heavy shows are in demand, and that means people with the skills to handle all the complex systems, they're becoming like hot commodities.
So is it kind of like future-proofing your career if you learn all this stuff now?
You got it. Plus, it's not just about job security. It's about being on the leading edge of all the creative changes happening in theater.
All right, you convinced me. So how do we get our listener ready to land one of these amazing jobs?
Interview questions. That's where we got to focus. They're going to test your technical skills for sure, but also how you problem solve, how you work with a team, and if you're truly passionate about theater.
Sounds intense. All right, let's start with a classic, one that seems easy but maybe isn't. Tell me about a time you solved a technical problem under pressure. What's the catch with this one?
It's all about how you answer. It's not just, this broke and I fixed it. They want to see your process. How do you think on your feet? How do you handle stress? How do you communicate when things get crazy? Think of a time you had a real technical issue, maybe even during a live show or rehearsal, and how you saved the day.
So instead of the spotlight died, so I changed the bulb, we need a more detailed story.
Exactly. Like, how'd you figure out it was the bulb? Who did you talk to? How did you keep the show going while you fixed it?
So could our listener say something like, during a tech rehearsal, the lead actor's mic just cut out. I quickly figured out it was a bad cable, told the stage manager, swapped it out with a spare, and the show went on without anyone even noticing.
Perfect example. It shows your tech skills and that you stay calm under pressure and can communicate clearly. Now, here's where RoleCatcher can make this answer even better.
Okay, how so? I'm all ears.
Let's say this job is all about lighting design. RoleCatcher can look at the job description and suggest adding details that show you know your stuff, like specifics about lighting consoles or troubleshooting tricky lighting problems. It can even give you feedback on how you're saying it, so you sound confident but not cocky.
So it's like having a personal interview coach. Okay, next question. What are some safety concerns in a theater? And how do you prevent them? Man, this one feels high stakes.
It is. Safety is a huge deal in theater, and they want to know you take it seriously and are proactive about preventing accidents.
So knowing where the fire extinguisher isn't enough. It's about thinking ahead and spotting potential dangers before they happen.
You got it. It's about knowing the safety rules inside and out and having a sharp eye for details.
So is it good to talk about different areas of the theater and their specific risks, like rigging safety for things flying above the stage, cables on the floor so no one trips, clear exits for the audience, that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. That shows you understand the whole picture. Even better if you've got real examples of how you've kept things safe in your past roles.
Like, when we used pyrotechnics, I made sure everyone was trained on fire safety, and we had fire extinguishers everywhere. Would that work?
Perfect. It proves you don't just know the rules, you've put them into practice. And guess what? RoleCatcher can help here too. If the job description mentions working at heights, it can suggest adding details about your experience with harnesses or specific rigging techniques that are extra safe.
It's all about tailoring those answers, showing you've got the right skills and experience for this specific job.
I love it.
Okay, what about this one? How would you handle it if another technician wasn't following safety rules? That feels tricky. Like, you got to be professional, but safety is super important.
You're right. It's a balancing act. They want to see you can handle these situations smoothly, but also be firm about safety.
So not just pointing fingers and yelling, but actually knowing how to approach the situation so it gets fixed.
Exactly. Think about how you'd talk to that person. Emphasize why those rules are there and what could happen if they're ignored.
And if they still don't listen, is it okay to say you tell a supervisor?
Totally. That shows you're serious about safety, even if it means speaking up. Now, RoleCatcher can even help you figure out the best way to approach this based on the company's vibe.
Really? How does it do that?
RoleCatcher is smart. It checks out the company's website, reviews, all that to get a sense of their work environment. If they're all about open communication, it might suggest focusing on how you'd have a conversation with the person first before going to the boss.
Wow, that's some next level insight. It's about knowing the job, A&D, the company culture.
Oh.
All right, moving on. Describe a time you worked as a team to achieve a common goal during a production. Teamwork vibes, right?
Oh yeah, huge in theater. They want to see that you can be a good team player, communicate well, and respect everyone's ideas. So think of a production where you were a key part of a team, what you contributed, and how you all work together.
So don't just list your tasks, but show how you fit into the team and help make things happen.
Right, like what were the challenges, how did you communicate, and what was the result of all your hard work?
For example, could they say something like, "We had this crazy complicated set change, and our team had to work perfectly together to make it happen smoothly and safely in like no time at all. We were clear about who was doing what, we helped each other out, and the director even gave us props for how flawless it looked."
That's awesome. Shows you understand teamwork and how to communicate effectively to achieve a common goal. You know, RoleCatcher can help personalize this one too.
No way. I'm starting to see the pattern here, but I love it. How so?
It can look for keywords in the job description that are about teamwork. Like, if they want someone who can collaborate across different departments, it might suggest talking about how you worked with costume designers or stage managers to pull everything together.
It's like fine-tuning your answer to fit what they're looking for. So smart. Okay, this next one seems a bit personal. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult personality during a show. Are they checking how I handle drama?
Kind of. Productions can be stressful, right? Conflicts happen. They want to know if you can stay professional and deal with those situations without letting it affect the work.
So, no trash-talking other people, but showing I can navigate tricky situations.
Exactly. Think of a time you had to work with someone difficult and focus on how you stayed professional, communicated well, and found a way to work it out.
Could they mention things like active listening, finding common ground, focusing on the show as the priority?
Totally. Those are great conflict resolution skills. Maybe something like, I had a colleague who didn't like a new safety rule, so I listened to their concerns, explained why it was important for everyone's safety, and we found a compromise that worked for both of us.
That shows you're not afraid of conflict, but handle it maturely. And I bet RoleCatcher has tips on customizing this answer, right?
Of course. If they want someone with emotional intelligence, RoleCatcher might suggest you show how you understood the other person's point of view while still sticking to your principles.
So it's not just about tech skills, but also being a good communicator and understanding people. That's huge in theater. All right, how about this one? How do you stay updated on the latest theater technology? Are they testing if I'm a lifelong learner?
You nailed it. Theater's always changing, new gadgets, new software, all the time. They want to see you're passionate about keeping up and learning new things.
So I read a magazine sometimes. Probably won't cut it.
Nope. Talk about specific courses, workshops, websites you follow, maybe even personal projects where you've tried out new beer.
Could our listeners say something like, I'm really interested in the newest LED lighting tech, so I just got certified in intelligent lighting control systems, and I keep up with industry journals like name of publication so I know what's trending.
Awesome. Shows you're actively learning, not just waiting for things to come to you. And get this. RoleCatcher can look at your resume and suggest you mention projects that match the technologies mentioned in the job description.
So, if the job wants someone who knows automation, RoleCatcher might remind me to talk about that time I programmed a super complex automated scene change.
Exactly. Highlighting the most relevant stuff to show them you're a perfect match. All right, last one for this round. This is a classic. What are your strengths and weaknesses when it comes to this job? This always makes me nervous. It's a tough one, but it's a chance to show self-awareness. Be honest about what you're good at, what you're still working on.
So, not pretending to be perfect, but being real and showing I'm always trying to get better.
Exactly. For strengths, focus on things that are relevant to a theater technician, like problem solving, attention to detail, technical skills, being a good teammate, clear communication, and obviously a passion for theater.
So could our listeners say something like, I'm really good at figuring out technical problems quickly, even under pressure. I'm also a great communicator and love working with a team.
Love it. Now, for weaknesses, pick something you're genuinely working on, but spin it positively.
Instead of, I'm terrible at time management, say, I'm learning to manage my time better by using scheduling tools and prioritizing my tasks.
Exactly. Shows you're self-aware and taking action. And, you guessed it, RoleCatcher can chime in here too.
I knew it. It's like it can read my mind. What kind of tips would it give?
It can look at the job description and suggest strengths and weaknesses that matter most for that specific role. Like if they want someone who can work independently, RoleCatcher might say, hey, mention how good you are at managing yourself and taking initiative. Or if they need someone who's a strong communicator, it might say, maybe don't bring up that you're not comfortable with public speaking.
Wow, that's so helpful. It's about making sure your answers match what the company's looking for, both in skills and personality. This has been amazing. I feel so much more confident about tackling these interview questions now.
I'm glad. We've covered a lot, but there's still more to come.
Okay, back to those interview questions. This one sounds super specific. Can you describe your experience with stage rigging and safety? They really want to know their stuff, don't they?
Oh, yeah, for sure. They want to hear about your hands-on experience, but also that you understand how crucial safety is when you're rigging things. It's not a joke.
So it's not just listing all the equipment I've used, it's proving I know how to rig things safely.
Exactly. Think about specific shows where you did rigging. What equipment did you use? What safety procedures did you follow? Mention any certifications you have, like working at heights training or special rigging techniques. Those are gold.
Could they say something like, I've got tons of experience with counterweight rigging systems and I'm trained in all the right stuff like load calculations and safety inspections. Like when I worked on Show Name, I was in charge of rigging and inspecting all the flown scenery, making sure everything was super safe.
Nailed it. That shows you know what you're doing. And you're serious about safety. And you know what? RoleCatcher can help you tailor this answer even more to the specific job.
Okay, I'm seeing the pattern here, but tell me more. How does RoleCatcher work its magic on this one?
Let's say this job involves automated rigging systems. RoleCatcher sees that in the description and suggests adding details about those systems, how familiar you are with them, the specific safety protocols, all that. It can even tell you if you're using the right terminology, making sure you sound like a pro.
It's like having an expert A&D coach in your pocket. I love it. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. This one's about your motivation. What inspired you to work in theater technology? Feels like they want to see that spark,
Totally. This is your chance to show your passion. What got you hooked on theater tech? Was there a show that blew your mind or a mentor who inspired you?
So instead of, I like building stuff, I need to connect it to my love of theater.
Exactly. Tell them a story that shows why you love this work.
Like, could they say, when I was a kid, I saw this production of Show Name, and the lighting just blew me away. Like how they use light and shadow to create the mood. It was incredible.
Yeah.
That's when I knew I wanted to be a part of the magic behind the scenes.
Beautiful. That's genuine passion right there. And guess what? RoleCatcher can even look at your resume and online profiles and suggest you mention projects that match that story, make it even more personal.
So if I volunteered as a lighting tech for a community theater, RoleCatcher might remind me to mention that to show how much I love lighting design.
Exactly. Every detail counts. Okay, let's get real for a sec with this one. How do you handle criticism or feedback on your work?
Oof, this one always makes me nervous. All right, theater is all about collaboration, so feedback is going to happen. It's about showing you're open to it, that you can take it and use it to grow.
Yes, you got to show you can listen, be objective about the feedback, and use it to make your work even better.
So could a good answer be something like, I see feedback as a chance to learn and grow. I appreciate it when people give me constructive criticism, and I always try to use it to improve my skills and do the best work possible. I'm always down to learn from more experienced techs. Their advice is invaluable.
Perfect. Shows you're eager to learn and get better. And RoleCatcher can even help you find specific examples of how you've actually taken feedback and made changes to your work in the past.
No way. How does it do that?
Say your resume mentions a project where the director gave you feedback on your sound design. RoleCatcher might suggest you talk about that, how you listened, made changes, and improved the sound because of it.
It's like it remembers everything. So cool. So it's not just about the skills you have. It's about showing you're a good learner and always striving to get better. Okay, this one seems pretty basic. Why do you want to work for our theater company? But I'm guessing there's more to it than just saying, your shows are cool.
You know it. This is about showing you've done your homework. Do you know their mission, what kind of work they do, what they value? It's about proving you're genuinely interested in being a part of their team.
So I should research the company, their past productions, their whole vibe, and then connect that to my skills and why I'd be a good fit.
You got it. Show them you're not just applying to any theater. You're specifically interested in them.
So, could a good answer be, I've been following your work for ages, and I'm so impressed with how innovative your productions are and how you connect with the community. Plus, I'm super excited about your upcoming show name, and I think my skills would be perfect for your team.
Perfect. Genuine interest right there. And guess what? RoleCatcher can actually look at the company's website, social media, all that, and find key themes and values that match your experience.
Wait, really? So if they're all about diversity and inclusion, RoleCatcher might suggest I talk about my experience working with diverse casts and crews.
You got it. It's about finding those connections that show you'd be a great fit, not just for the job, but for their whole philosophy. Okay, let's get practical with this one. Imagine you're on a show with a tiny budget. How would you get the equipment you need? That feels like a real-life problem for a lot of theater techs.
For sure, especially at smaller companies or if the show's just starting out. They're testing if you can be resourceful and creative, right?
Absolutely. They want to see you can prioritize, find solutions that don't break the bank, but also don't sacrifice quality or safety. It's a tough balance.
So instead of, we need more money,
Mhm.
or I need to show I can think outside the box and make the most of what we have.
Exactly. Talk about renting equipment, repurposing stuff you already have, finding cheaper options, maybe even building something yourself if it makes sense.
Could a good answer be? First, I'd figure out exactly what equipment we need for the show. Then I'd look at all the options, maybe rent the stuff we only need for a short time, repurpose things we already have to save money, and see if there are more affordable versions of what we need that still do the job right.
That's smart. You're showing you're strategic and know how to prioritize. And RoleCatcher can actually look at the company's online stuff and industry info to see what their budget situation is usually like and suggest solutions that would work for them.
So if they're known for doing super low-budget experimental shows, RoleCatcher might say, hey, mention that time you built props yourself or found materials in weird places to save money.
Bingo. Tailoring your answer to show you understand their world and can work within their limitations. Okay, this one's about taking initiative. Tell me about a time you spotted a problem during a show and fixed it without being asked. They want someone who's proactive, right?
Totally. In theater, that can save the show. It's about seeing potential issues before they become big problems and not waiting for someone to tell you to fix it.
Exactly. Think of a time you saw something that could go wrong, maybe a safety hazard, technical glitch, or even just a logistical thing, and how you stepped up and fixed it without anyone asking.
So could our listeners say something like, we were loading in this huge, complicated set, and I noticed some of the pieces weren't labeled right. That could have caused total chaos during set changes. So I made a clear labeling system and made sure everyone knew how to use it. No problems during the run.
Love it. Shows you anticipate problems and you fix them. And RoleCatcher can actually look at how that company usually works and suggest problems that fit their specific challenges.
So if they're known for super fast turnarounds and tight deadlines, RoleCatcher might say, hey, talk about your experience streamlining processes or figuring out potential logistical problems before they happen.
Nailed it. It's about proving you understand their needs and can help them succeed. Okay, last one for now. This one's about the future. Where do you see yourself in 5 years in the world of theater technology? Feels a bit like they're checking my ambition.
Yeah, they want to know if you're in it for the long haul, not just passing through. It's about painting a picture of your career goals and how you want to grow in the field.
Absolutely. Think about what really excites you in theater tech. What skills do you want to master? What kind of roles do you dream of having?
So instead of, I just want a steady job,
Mhm.
I should talk about my aspirations and how I see myself evolving as a theater technician.
Yes. Show them you have a vision for your future in this field.
Could they say something like, in 5 years, I want to be a top-notch lighting designer, creating amazing, immersive lighting for shows. I'm always learning, and I want to get so good that I can even mentor other techs and help shape the future of theater tech.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Ambition, passion, and a commitment to growth. And you guessed it. RoleCatcher can look at the company and see if their career paths match your goals.
So if they have a strong mentorship program, RoleCatcher might suggest I mention that I'm interested in mentoring to show I'm a good fit for their culture.
Exactly. It's all about showing you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a place to build a career. Man, we've really gone deep on these interview
I
questions.
know, right? I'm feeling so much more prepared and confident. But there's still more to talk about, especially when it comes to RoleCatcher and how it can help us ace those answers.
Right.
Okay, let's talk RoleCatcher. We've mentioned it a bunch, but how can it really help with this interview? It's like my secret weapon now, right?
It's more than a weapon, it's like a whole team of experts, all for you. Personalized advice, feedback based on data, it's way better than just reading some general tips online.
Okay, I'm hooked. Break it down for me. We talked about the AI stuff, but what's the big picture? What makes RoleCatcher so special?
Imagine this. You upload your CV, paste the link to the job ad, and RoleCatcher's AI goes to work. It figures out exactly what skills and experience this company wants. Then it suggests changes, additions, even helps you reword things so your CV speaks their language.
So it's not about having a pretty CV. It's about making sure the content matches what the hiring manager is actually looking for.
Bingo. It's about getting past those robots that scan CVs and landing right in front of the humans who make the decisions. And remember all those interview questions we
Oh,
practice.
yeah, like a whole rehearsal.
Well, RoleCatcher takes practice to a whole new level. They have a library of common questions, or you can type in the exact ones from the job ad. Then you practice answering them, either by typing or talking out loud.
Okay, that sounds pretty normal. What's the AI part?
The feedback. RoleCatcher listens to your answers and analyzes them. Not just what you say, but how you say it. Is it clear? Concise? Are you structuring your answers well? It tells you what to improve, suggests different ways to say things, and even gives you tips on sounding confident and enthusiastic.
Whoa, it's like having a director coach me through the interview. But how does it know what this specific company wants? Isn't the AI just generic?
That's the crazy part. RoleCatcher does its homework. It looks at the company's website, their social media, even reviews from employees to get their vibe, their culture and values. Then it tailors the feedback to make sure your answers are not just good, but good for this employer specifically.
So if they're all about teamwork, RoleCatcher will push me to talk about my team experiences and how I make the group better.
Exactly. It's about being super specific to the company and the role. And it's not just the words you say, it's how you say them. RoleCatcher can even listen to your tone of voice and tell you if you need to change your pacing or energy level.
Okay, I'm seriously impressed. So it's not just memorizing answers, it's about understanding the whole communication thing and how to present yourself the right way.
Exactly. It's about showing them you're not just skilled, but that you'd fit right in with their team. And the best part, RoleCatcher has tons of free stuff to try out so you can see the magic for yourself.
Well, I think we've given our listener everything they need to totally rock that theater technician interview.
I think so too. Remember, the more prepared you are, the more confident you'll feel. And with all the stuff we've talked about today, plus the power of RoleCatcher, you're going into that interview with a huge advantage.
Before we wrap up, let's leave everyone with something to think about. Theater tech is always changing. There's always something new to learn.
That's what makes it so exciting, right? Never stop learning, stay curious, and keep exploring all the amazing possibilities this field has to offer.
Beautifully said. And remember, whether you're building sets, rigging lights, or creating incredible soundscapes, theater magic happens both on stage and behind the scenes. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, break a leg.